It can be easy to forget how funny Mob Psycho 100 can be, but this week's episode really highlights just how good the comedy can be when it really wants to. Introducing a character who can rival Reigen in just the way he presents himself to the viewer is really hard to do, but getting introduced to another psychic who seems to be a bit of a con artist in his own right there was really entertaining. But just seeing the scene with him shaking up kids on the playground, then realizing that he's coming off as a creep, and just watching that scene unfold, I was both shaking my head and laughing my ass off, because holy hell, only a Mob Psycho 100 would they direct a scene like that in just the way that they did, not to mention shifting it into a literal 2D fighter. The visuals in this series are an absolute treat. I just really adore how this series looks. They always have fun ways of shifting around the animation style, changing the perspective and scale of the characters to just really make you feel like, holy hell, you feel like there's some weird acid trip going on, because there's no way an anime could look this damn creative with its line work and just how the characters are just doing the craziest shit, while still remaining to be fun and just having these really great character moments, primarily between Reigen and Mob. I really like the idea of urban legends in this, because for the most part, all these urban legends are complete phony. It's kids writing on dogs' faces, it's just a lot of people spreading rumors and people buying into those rumors. Same as reality, that's how urban legends always start. But I do like the idea of how, if there is enough support for that urban legend, if it's been passed around long enough, in Reigen's case, he's known of this one urban legend since he was a kid, it can actually manifest into a real spirit, which was pretty interesting, because for the most part this was a pretty comfy and funny episode. Just our characters going around shaking up people, Reigen teaching kids that sometimes you need to smack punk ass kids in the head because their parents aren't doing a good enough job. Life lesson right there. But then you actually get this actual terrifying monster that Mob just completely one-shots because he doesn't buy into social situations. He's so out of touch that he is such a weird guy that he doesn't get why people are scared of things, and that actually works in his advantage until the end of the episode, which I have to say, Mob being scared of this grandma who's just running, who supposedly is going to strangle you to death but actually does nothing, was an absolute blast to watch, because Mob is such a weird character, and I think that's what makes him so likable, because you have these situations where he's so oblivious to so much things, and that obliviousness can lead him to be used by others, primarily Reigen, but at the end of the day can also work in his advantage because he doesn't buy into these rumors, so he's not scared of things that can actually kill him, and he can use his psychic abilities to absolutely dominate. And it is funny when this series does introduce spirits that can actually overpower Mobs. Sometimes they are just the most ridiculous and non-frightening entities that you could think of, and it just makes the series even more fun. I just like the idea of how this episode was a very fun and very episodic feeling episode. You know, you got your dimple bag, you got all the characters, and you even get introduced to a new one. But it was really just about going around the town, having that Mob and Reigen action, having them have an absolute blast together. Mob maybe not so much, as he's just getting soaking wet because Reigen's bathing a dog and the dog's just kind of shaking the water off, and it's just a lot of Reigen using Mob, Reigen coming up with plans. You know, maybe I can start a website and scam people out of money. But it's just the way the character interactions were happening when you get introduced to this new fat guy who's just, he's not as scummy as Reigen, but he somehow has that presence and he just makes scenes come so alive. I really hope we get to see more of him in season 2, because honestly, him and Reigen just talking and just kind of bickering back and forth while you got Mob just kind of in the background being like, probably contemplating, why does he really need this job? Is just absolutely fun to watch, and the voice acting was just off the charts here. There's so much fun. I'm not sure if there's any behind the scenes footage of the voice actors recording lines for Mob Psycho 100, but I would love to see like Reigen's voice actor, just what he looks like in the recording booth, because he must be having a fun time. I just love this series. It is so damn fun. Of course the visuals are a big part of that, because you have all these colors, all these interesting designs, these abstract and wild character models, but even if you remove the amazing visuals, the reason it truly is so entertaining is, in my opinion, Reigen and Mob. The two characters, they just work so well together because they shouldn't work well together. The viewer knows Reigen is a scumbag, using Mob, making him do most of the hard work, but there's something so nurturing and loving about the guy. It's the smallest part of his character, but it still is there, so it just makes these interactions so damn fun. And just having such a monotone and lifeless character like Mob being like, oh, it's just a spirit, why are we so scared of this spirit? And then he comes up with a fan fiction in his head, which just pisses Reigen off because Reigen's pissing his pants. The two, and just the way they interact with such honestly frightening, or just silly situations, they always find a way to take that dynamic and make it even more interesting and entertaining than the previous one that you saw in last week or a couple weeks prior to it. The two characters are amazing, and when it feels like it could grow stale, they'll introduce a new character or bring back an old character who's a fan favorite to keep the scenes completely refreshing as we watch whatever urban legend or ghost unfold, as Mob just be an absolute badass with the amazing music, the amazing voice acting, with the awesome animation. Seriously, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, it's going to be amazing. A lot of people are saying that if we get a third season, they could wrap up the entire story, because the manga apparently did end. So that'll be pretty cool if we do get a full adaptation of Mob Psycho 136 episodes. That sounds like a good length for a show like this. Have enough time to have fun with the characters while also telling some sort of an end goal. That's going to be really fun. I'm just excited to see more Mob and Reigen. Hopefully this old fat guy is going to be returning back, because he was an absolute blast to watch in this episode. Very fun character with some pretty sketchy scenes, but ultimately it was pretty fun nonetheless. But Mob Psycho 100 is back. Last week hit us with an emotional roller coaster at the end of last week, and this episode was just an absolute treat. Laughing my ass off, just having a fun time, while also showing us why Mob is #1. Let me know whatever you thought of this week's episode of Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, Episode 2 down in that comment section below. Did you love it? Did you hate? Your favorite moment? What did you think of just that scene on the playground? Because that was absolutely hilarious in my opinion. Let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. But until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.